Good day buddies. Hope you're doing fine out there, like our featured pet ant colony today. As I have said on the past video, some of our ant colonies needed some upgrades, including our Trichomamex destructor colony, as their setup is almost fully occupied again. But the bigger reason why we need to move them immediately is this. They already dig through the hydration chamber, so I don't have a choice but to leave the syringe needle to the hydration port to block their way of escape. So for today, we're finally making my dream setup for them, which is a vertical nest with water tower. Almost similar to our DIY Absolute Formicarium. But this version we're making today is a more visible one, as we trained our Trichomamex destructor colony to live under a light. So we got to make the nest more visible, to continue keeping the colony without any covers 24/7. We got some acrylic pieces here, especially cut by my local supplier. Including frames like this. I'm the one who drilled the holes, and the big ones is supposed to be for installing neodymium magnets, but since we're dealing with one of the hardest ant species to contain here, it will be safer to use bolt and nuts. So we're covering the bigger holes back to fully secure the nest. Then I proceed assembling, fixing every corners permanently, using acrylic cement. Which I haven't showed you on the Absolute Formicarium build before. Then we closed this part using acrylic cutouts, to create the water tower. We also glued cutouts, in between the drilled holes for the bolts. So we can tighten the screws, without worrying for the frames to snap. We also did a water leak test, before covering the tower with a 100 micron mesh. We fixed it in place using super glue, and let it fully dry for 24 hours. I installed the front glass. Then drilled the hydration port. We're again using the same styrofoam patterns that we've previously used on the Absolute Formicarium build. Filled it with sand. Gently remove the patterns. Then filled the free space with sanded grout. We covered it all, but I made sure that the back layer is less than 5 mm thick. So we can carve it out easier later. We didn't make a background, cause what I plan is to make the visible nest itself as the outworld's background. Since it will be sandwiched between the glass. Before we continue, let me say my million thanks to our buddies. Benjamin Ensel and Stalzone. I hope we got the names right. We're very much grateful to your love and support received by the channel. Thank you. Let me also say welcome back buddies. And for those new to the channel, you're also welcome to D Colony. Normally, I'm letting it fully cure for 2 days. But since we're gonna carve a little bit, I decided to open it after 24 hours so their job will be simpler. And when I said I made the back layer thin earlier buddies, I mean this. As we can almost see the sand patterns here. While I'm removing the sand, I'm carving out through the back. As we can observe the tunnel holes being created here. we're not completely carving out the back layer, we're leaving some pillars to support the tunnels. After the front is done, we also did some finishing touches at the back. From this view, we can't see any passage through the humid part to the right. No worries, as we secretly have them on the back of these pillars. After all of the work, I proceed to rinse it with water and brush it through the process to remove the unwanted particles in the tunnels. I'm not careful enough, so we snap this part while brushing. I don't have much time to repeat the build, so we just fixed it using super glue. While we let the glue dry for 24 hours, we need to cover it with paper like this, cause the fumes from the super glue while drying will absolutely stain the glass. And while waiting, we fixed the remaining parts like this glass on the outworld. If you plan on keeping destructor ants, don't forget to install acrylic pipes on the expansion holes to prevent them from escaping easily, as those ants can break out if the silicone tubing is just attached to the drilled hole normally. Anyway, the main purpose of these glass at the back is to close the nest and control ventilation, to make the nest humid enough for the ants. And as usual, 4mm straw for the hydration. And silicone plug, to prevent the evaporation outside the nest. And again, using our DIY ventilation tubes for the vent holes. Then we're now applying our escape prevention barrier. It's PTFE Flow-On by Formica. This one dries fast compared to other brands. But I still let this set for 24 hours, buddies, before exposing it to the ants, as doing it likely prolonged the effectiveness of the barrier. In my experience, it could last for up to a year, or even more. We hydrate the nest to set the humidity inside, before moving the ant colony tomorrow. I'm sure our water tower had no leak, but we overwatered it, causing this water trapped between the glass, which absorbed through the holes of the screws, passing it to the grout. But that's fine, and nothing to worry about. We added substrate and flipped the cover for the barrier to face downward. Then we connected the new ant farm to the colony's setup. We'll be covering the full 10-month update, and about this move on their next video, buddies. But here's some clip of the colony, storming in the new formicarium. I just hope you have learned something from this video, guys. Be a genie for the first time by granting my wish and tapping the like and share button. That would help a lot. This is D Colony, saying goodbye for now, but hoping to see you on my next videos.